Greetings, I am Rob Chapman from Chapman Guitars, and today I've got some really exciting prototypes to show you, starting with the brand new reissued Chapman ML-1, which stands for Monkey Lord 1. Now, anybody that knows much about Chapman guitars here will know that the ML-1 was issued about 3 years ago. Seems like a long time now, and I suppose it is a long time, 3 years. We managed to sell hundreds and hundreds. In fact, we actually sold out. And we did so well with ML-1, we issued ML-2, and then when they sold out, we decided to redo and reissue both the models with a couple of changes. And I'm going to talk you through the basic changes to the ML-1 prototypes, which are going to come into fruition and the marketplace probably January next year. They'll be available to pre-order in September, though, from Andertons.co.uk. So, we've got two different finishes, and the really exciting thing for me, because I take these out and tour them, exciting thing is they sound completely different. Now, it's great because a lot of people talk about finishes having a change and a difference on the tone and the way guitars sort of feel to the player, but I hadn't realised that the finish could make that much of a difference, you know. So we'll start with this one. This is a grey-black gloss finish. You can see it's quite shiny. It's just a beautiful, beautiful veneer on top of a solid two-piece mahogany body. The back has this, I'll show you the second camera actually. You see it's got this almost like a sort of, almost like a Betancourt type cutaway. I'm calling it Betancourt for a reason. And we've got the recessed bolt join there rather than the original back plate. Now, I liked the back plate, it was fun and it had my face on it, but the thing is, kind of got in the way of the upper scale shred, which I started to do recently, and so I thought, you know what, we'll lose it and we'll make it more ergonomic, make it fit to the player better. So, a brief overview of the features. We've got ebony fretboard, really nice, highly polished, like glass ebony, the way ebony should be. We've got a maple neck, there's no skunk stripe, it's just beautiful maple, and they've laid the truss rod through on the front. Tusk nut, not animal bone, tusk, which is T-U-S-Q, not to be confused with elephant tusk. We've got this, like I said, two-piece mahogany body with what I call reveal binding. So reveal binding is where they literally just mask off a top area of the wood and allow it, I'm just showing camera 2 here, allow it to be natural. So that's the colour the mahogany comes in, which is nice. It's a nice touch. There's nothing added to the wood, there's no plastic added there, it's just the wood being revealed, hence the reveal binding. One of my favourite vintage style tremolos, the Wilkinson tremolo. Now this thing is awesome because it gives you that vintage style trem, but you can set it up to do some modern stuff as well, which I'll show you with the other ML-1 I've got, which is a natural finish I've got set up with the trem. Very, very simple control layout. This is the way I like things. And this was, as you probably know, collaboratively designed by my followers, minions, friends and fans online. So this is what the people wanted at the time. Going forward in Chapman Guitars history, things may change, but right now this is what they wanted. 3-way selector, 1 tone knob, 1 volume knob. I love it. So this is just a prototype, but the factory run are gonna have a coil tap right here. This isn't wired in, but it will be. Coil tap obviously will just split the humbucker into a kind of a single coil. It isn't exactly the same as a single coil, but an approximation. Humbucker, single coil, 3-way. You can do all sorts of things with that. You get some, well, I'll show you the tones, but you'll get really, really acoustic sounding wooden tones from the single coils, and a fat, beefy tone from the humbucker. Back to the fretboard, we've got 22 frets. We've got side dots on the side of the fretboard, but the only inlay on the front, obviously, is this infinity symbol. Now, I like it that way. It's just a blank, black abyss to focus nothing but your fingers on. I think that does something good to a player because it means you don't have to rely on your eyes and continually look at the board. You can look at the audience, which is where you're supposed to be focused, you know. On the headstock, we've got some Grover tuners. These things grip the string great. I've never had any kind of slippage issues. Nothing but love for Grover tuners. Now, one major change from the previous run of ML-1s and ML-2s is that previously the pickups were the cheapest we could spec because we wanted end users, people that bought the guitars, to be able to fit their own pickups. It was very important to me at the time that the guitar was a blank canvas to do with what you will. Now, this is the standard continuous production run guitar, and so I wanted to do something a little bit different and have pickups that represented the tones that I wanted out there. These are Chapman pickups. So this humbucker is a fantastic CG-GV, standing for Guitarnivore. And the single coils are CG-EV, standing for Extreme Victory, which is what you'll acquire when you play a Chapman guitar. Now, I'm using the Rob Chapman signature Silverback amplifier from a currently undisclosed amplifier brand, soon to be disclosed, and I'm using a completely clean sound, no effects pedals, no reverb, no delay, nothing, just to give you the sound of the pickups and the wood. I think you're going to be quite surprised at how different the two guitars sound. This one is thicker, more compressed and darker, and as such I've hardtailed it and I've put on it a 12 gauge thick bass string here, and the rest of these are 11 gauge, and I've detuned it because it gives off that kind of a tone. So anyway, here's the humbucker for you. And here's the central position. As you can tell, it's super resonant, feels great, and this is the neck position. So there you go, you know, some really interesting tones, full and fat with the humbucker, woody, open, hollow and breathy with the Extreme Victory Chapman guitar single coils. And by the way, these pickups are only available if you buy a Chapman guitar. You can't buy them aftermarket and retrofit them. Because if you want a Chapman guitar tone, you buy a Chapman guitar. Let's get some gain up here. I'm going to flick channels. I've got a great amplifier, but this is also a great guitar. Check this out. The gain because it's quite ferocious at the moment. I've got this set for metal really. I give you a sort of slightly lower gain. I'll keep the gain setting in memory for the other guitar there. I'm trying to play simple things so that you can hear the tone rather than kind of flashy playing, so that you just get the playing rather than the tone, if you know what I mean. So let me back off the volume on that so you can hear it clear up. So here's full volume. Here's backed off. Backed off some more. Doesn't lose the top end frequencies. Moving on, middle position. quite low down because I like to hybrid pick. And I find that if I have the middle pickup higher, it gets in the way of my fingers, but here is your neck pickup. My mobile phone. It's Ben Meidel from my band Dorje. Hey Ben, how you doing, buddy? Good old Meidel tour. So, those are the basic tones. I'll crank up the gain again and just give you a little bit of lead playing with a bit of reverb now so you can hear it kind of singing. So there you go, great big fat dark sounds for you from the grey-black ML-1. We're now going to change over to the natural ML-1. I think you're going to be quite surprised at the change in tone. It just screams. I don't know what it is about the difference. You know what it is? The grey-black is awesome for chunky, rhythmical, heavy rock and metal, that kind of thing. This is a soloist's kind of a tone. This is more of a Satriani vibe. It's a toppier, edgier, breathier sound. This is a darker, more focused, powerful sound. It's really great that it's the same guitar, but the two different finishes give that. I just love that about this guitar. So, well, let's talk about the differences. There aren't any really. I mean, the only thing is there's no reveal binding. This is modelled on exactly the guitar I took on tour with me and used for the majority of my Chapman career. Same neck construction, as you can probably see. This one is set up for a tremolo. And what I've done, I'll give you some tips here actually. It is a 6-screw traditional type tremolo. And what I tend to do is the middle 4 screws I just bring up so that it's only really riding on 2 of them. It makes it much more stable. I've also sunk it down quite low so that if you pull back, I mean, I don't want any pullback, so I've got mine set up so that it won't really pull back much, just a little bit. So check this out. I can still get pretty much a semitone pullback from the traditional trem, but it's a lot more stable. and you can do all sorts of tricks with it. In fact, I have a video on YouTube where I'm showing, I think it's called the Ultimate Guide to the Whammy Bar, and I'm showing off this particular tremolo. I'm not much of a tremolo player, but it's nice to have it there to use it if you want to. Still in tune. I mean, it's just a great system. As long as you string your guitar properly, don't put too many winds around the little bits at the top. Tuning pegs is what they're called. We've got a great nut. The tusk is nice and lubricated. But also, here's a tip for you. I use something which is really, really cool. It looks like I'm some kind of horrendous drug addict. I'll show you camera 2 here. I'm really not. This is a Planet Waves product called Lubri-Kit. And Lubri-Kit is literally that. It's a lubrication kit for lubing up your tremolo. Comes in a syringe, looking a bit weird. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get that through customs on tour. But all I do is I whack it underneath each string where it touches the nut, just to make sure that I'm not getting it to stick, pardon me, or anything like that. And this trem stays in tune. And I'm telling you, having demonstrated almost every guitar on earth over the past almost 1,000 videos through my career with Andertons and World Guitars and the other stores I've worked with, having a trem that's a vintage style stay in tune is a miracle. Check out the tones, so I'll turn the reverb off and I'll change back to the clean channel for you, and we'll go through them one at a time. So here is the humbucker, nice and natural. That's a motorbike for you in Wiltshire. I'll try that again. I was thinking, this guitar sounds really odd now. Dude is gonna die. Back in the room. So here's the humbucker for you. Vibrating in my hand, in my body, on my leg. The whole guitar is really, really, really vibrant. An awful lot lighter than the previous model. The concept of the previous ML-1 was that the super heavy body with the bolt-on and the really thick ebony fretboard gave it an interesting contrast. But people complained about the weight, and so I listened, and so we changed it. And so this is an awful lot lighter. It's less than half the weight of the previous ML-1, I'll be honest with you. So let's venture away from our humbucker. Here's the middle position for you. I can play anywhere on the fretboard. There's no buzzing, there's no problems. The action is, I'll show you actually, you can maybe have a look in this camera here. Nice and low. It's just beautiful, beautiful guitar. Here is the neck position for it. So here's a nice lead sound for you, back on the gain. I've put the volume up just a little tiny bit. I'm using the TC Electronic Flashback, my favourite delay pedal of all time, until they bring out the brand new one I'm about to demo in a world exclusive. And I'm using the TC Electronic Hall of Fame. This is just a great, great instrumental kind of lead guitar tone. Check this out. Well, when I started filming this video, it was bright outside, the sunshine was streaming through the door, and now it's black, because I've been jamming for so long, I hadn't kept an eye on the time. But I hope you had a good overview of the tones you can get from these two identical models with different finishes, giving you different kinds of tone from Chapman guitars. So, just to recap, you can reserve these in September. They'll be with us to ship out around January. So, if you really want one, keep yourselves prepared to deposit around about 40, 50 quid at Andertons.co.uk. 4 years voted the best music retailer in England, and they ship worldwide. So if you want one, you can get one. I'm going to have 2 or 3. I've already got 2. I'll have another one. Anyway, until then, you guys take it easy. Chappers out.